they have prepared what we call Workers' Manifesto. And we are going to hand over a copy to our brother Allan. This covers a lot of major issues, including some that have been discussed here. And because of time, we cannot go through it. So on behalf of Organized Labour, we are presenting to you 20 copies of our Workers' Manifesto. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm here with Dr. Isaac Bambwado. He is the chairman of the Forum for Public Sector Workers. I'm the Secretary General of TUC, and Sister Comfort is a General Secretary for Construction Union of TUC. Thank you very much.
20 copies of the Workers' Manifesto presented to the summit convener and leader of the Movement for Change, Excellency Allan Kyeremanteng. Put your hands together. Thank you very much indeed. Wonderful. Take a nice group photograph. And the team will lead us for lunch after this. Dr. Sakara and the team will follow. We'll all go for lunch. Dr. Kwachi, thank you for the presentation. We will ask those who don't have...
Because what propels a country to prosperity is not just change. You have to be able to initiate a change that is significant enough that can absorb the shocks, whether domestic or external. So the major thrust of this summit is for us to dialogue about the kind of policy, prescriptions or recommendations that will lead transformation. So the focus is on the transformation of the Ghanaian economy. But obviously there are other considerations that are governance related, infrastructure related. All those issues impact on economic transformation. But this particular summit is focused specifically to deal with policies that will transform our economy.
And you say the great transformation plans will help address the problem. What's contained in that policy and how will you get out of that chapter?
Well, that's the subject of this summit. So we're dealing with a number of policy areas. We've talked about the macroeconomy, and within that context, we've discussed inflation, how to reduce interest rates, how to stabilize our currency, our debt sustainability management strategy. All these have been discussed under the chapeau of macroeconomy. But we've also discussed policy recommendations in respect of industrial transformation. Fixing your macroeconomy is a necessary condition, but it's not a sufficient condition. So you need to be able to enhance the productive sectors of the economy on the back of the macroeconomy. So we've discussed industrial transformation. This afternoon we'll discuss agricultural revolution. And then, of course, another very important economic sector, tourism, will also be discussed in the afternoon.
Is to change focus, because that framework came from the structural adjustment, and this is the time to change it if you want to transform. And so I was suggesting, and this is the view of TUC, that what we need to do first is to target employment. So I can just give an example. Assuming in 2026, or between now and 2026, we want to create 1 million jobs for young people. We work on that. How many will be women? How many will be men? How many will come from the various regions? We work that out. And then we ask the very important question: what level of interest rate will be needed to support those who are going to create these jobs? And we try to regulate interest rates to suit that. What kind of exchange rate will be needed? What kind of inflation are we going to accept? So sometimes it is not just single digit. You can force inflation down, but that will mean that you are losing a lot of jobs. So for example, if we want to create 1 million jobs, our inflation is between 10 and 20%, so be it. The following year, we think about creating another 1 million, and then we fix. And as time goes on, these things will work out, things will come down. You have so many young people paying taxes. You don't need to rely on indirect taxes to punish people who don't have money.
Dr. Baba, speaking about taxes, we know that your TUC group is raising concerns on the value-added tax on electricity. The deadline is over. What will be your next line of
We are meeting at 2 o'clock. So from this interview, I'm going to organize a meeting, and we are going to make sure we stop the implementation of this bill.
Is it the case that you are totally against it, or if government
We are
comes
totally
halfway
against it. We are not talking about halfway. What we are saying is that this law was passed in 2013. No government has implemented. There must be a reason. Even ECG has come out to say that their systems must be updated or calibrated. So we need time to be given. So in the course of that, we discuss this. We don't think that this is the time to impose VAT on consumers. At the same time, government is planning removing VAT for those who come to explore. Big-time businesses who have so much money. Government is planning to remove VAT from exploration of minerals. So we think we need to have a dialogue. We will be available for dialogue. But we want it clear that this is not the time to tax Ghanaians anymore.
Is that to say that ever since you made the announcement, government hasn't reached out?
Government has reached out.
What's
They
their
have issued a
proposal?
statement. I'm surprised because government has issued a statement saying that they are going to engage us. But we are not happy about that statement because they are saying the purpose of the engagement is to get our buy-in, and we think that is wrong. We have to have open mind to discuss this.
The finance minister is asking for more time. That's what the statement says.
No problem. We don't think that, okay, if they agree that they are not going to tax Ghanaians further, especially resist. If we accept this, tomorrow it will be water. Today, I received a letter from book publishers. They are paying VAT in Ghana. This is not right. This is not right. And we have to stop it. I have to go now.
Thank you so much.
Please give us a summary of your intervention as short as possible. Your name and where you coming from.
Thank you very much. My name is Allan. I'm the Secretary General of TUC, also representing organized labor. Moderator, I think you took too much of our time. And I'm sure many people may want to say something, but you alone hijacked the thing, and now they are saying we have only 2 minutes. This summit is about us. You see? So I have a comment. Of course, this cannot go without comment from organized labor. Dr. Kwadwo made a point about the size of the public sector. I can disagree, and I have my comments here. Look, we live in a country of 30 million people. Public servants are only 700,000. That's not a lot. The problem with the compensation in public sector is about the ratio government is committing to public sector pay and the revenue we are generating. And that is the point Nana made. If you give tax exemptions to foreigners, you can generate money. If indeed, Ghana now, our total tax is just under 13% of GDP, 13.5% of GDP. Ideally, we should be generating about 22, 23, 24. If we generate 22% of GDP in taxes, what government is paying to public sector workers will not be much. So the problem is that it's not about public sector. Look, where Ghana is now, if we want to bring discipline into this society, we need more police officers. There is 1 police officer for 1,000 Ghanaians. Elsewhere, there is 1 police officer for 250 people. So we need more public servants. No private sector person should be allowed to hire a police officer. It's a public sector which should hire a police officer. That is my comment about that. Having said that, let me make my important point here. Look, we all looked at your macroeconomic variables, interest rates, exchange rate, inflation, the key ones. These came from the structural adjustment. It is not one important thing missing in our macroeconomic framework is employment. We've been here talking for more than 2 hours. We have never mentioned employment. What we need to do is to change our macroeconomic framework, make employment the key target, and then we link all the macroeconomic targets to it. It's not single, it's not about single digits. It is not about single digit or anything. If you say this year, I want to create 1 million jobs, then the economist, I can tell you, Bank of Ghana has a lot of people who can help us. We want to create 1 million jobs. What inflation will go with it? What exchange rate will go with it? What interest rate will go with it? That's how we should rule this country. That is how we should manage this country. My brother, my last point, it goes to you, Winslow. You made a terrible comment about only 10% of Ghanaians paying taxes. But at the end of your presentation, you corrected yourself. Governments in this country are relying on indirect regressive taxes that affect poor people. Let me tell you, every Ghanaian, the poor Ghanaians are paying more taxes than the rich because of VAT. And now they are not ashamed. They want to now go into our houses and tax our electricity. And you say we don't pay taxes. Every Ghanaian pays tax. Okay, this is not a trade union point. So
thank you very much. So,
please, organizers, if you could just put on screen an email address that contributors who don't have an opportunity to send through their comments can pass their comments to these emails or telephone numbers. Because we have a lot of hands, we have so much just 2 minutes left to handle our mind. But please, you and then we
all right, thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Ramsey Ibusa, and I'm also put on record. I have been hiding, I will not say hiding this record, but I have to make it public today in this forum. And I take inspiration to that. I was the first black African techpreneur in the Silicon Valley of China. I built a startup company valued at a post-money valuation of $14 million. Now, we tend to preach the same anachronistic methods of financing for our SMEs. As a country, we need to promote venture capital financing for SMEs and also to promote investments by angel investors, which will not put a lot of stress on entrepreneurs. Now, if entrepreneurs go and take loans from the bank, and we all know that at the seed level of any startup, the risk of you failing is quite high, right? And so how then do we encourage our people to go into entrepreneurship if the same method of financing is via banks? And I would like to ask Doc a question. We all know that there is an inelastic demand for technology as a factor for productivity, economic productivity. We're talking about import substitution, but we live in a country where there is not much allocation to the investment and the promotion of research and development in our tertiary institutions. And we need to look at that. Because we talk about import substitution. You do not finance universities, you do not finance institutions to be able to research and develop Ghanaian-owned, Ghanaian-centered technologies to solve our problems, that can enable us compete locally and internationally. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So thank you everyone. I know there's still a whole lot of interest. We're going to put the email address on the screen so we can capture your views. They are very important to us, all the views that have been expressed. Dr. Kwadwo, I'm going to give you a minute to summarize everything that you have heard from the participants, and a minute to Mr. Sakifio to also use to summarize some of the things that you have heard. Please, let's stick to the minute so we don't eat too much into the next segment.
Well, I think that the purpose of this summit is to come and dialogue, and share our views. And I'm happy that people are expressing, their views openly. I don't have to summarize for others. I have my own independent views. So you can agree or disagree with me. It doesn't matter. Now but just specifically, my friend, Dr. Van. When we talk about the size of the public sector, I know that is a very sensitive subject. I mean, every time it comes up. We've been talking about reforming the public sector forever. When I talk about the size of the public sector being too big, the public sector includes even government, the size of government. We all talk about the size of government being too big. So why won't you agree with me that the public sector is too big? You go to the ministries, including Ministry of Finance. You go there and you see that there are so many workers there. Some even don't have seats.